and welcome to Speed Feed. My name is Kimani Bogwa and I want to welcome you to the live stream for today. We are in episode number 5, talking about trending stories. What are people talking about today and some of the things you need to know. I've got so many stories. You can see them here on the feed and I'll be going through all of them one by one, letting you know which ones are eliciting a lot of reactions from Kenyans. I have a lot of stories that have elicited a lot of reactions from Kenyans, and I've been talking to you about police planning to use drones and other stories about ARVs which are stuck at the port, and Kenyans are angry about that, and so much more. Thank you so much for joining this feed. We are live on Facebook and YouTube. Asanteni sana. Yeah, can I wait for just a few people, just a few more people to join so we can start the feed? Yeah. And if you're here already, thank you so much for coming on. I know you probably just saw your notification on your phone and you just came straight to the speed feed to watch what is happening today. Yeah, and we're gonna be talking about all of that in just a few. I'm just buying time so that more people can join in. So if you haven't done it, invite your friends to come and watch us here on this live feed on YouTube and also on Facebook in case you haven't done so. All right, but shall we get into the feed to know what Kenyans are talking about? You can follow me here on the feed. Let's talk about the first story that's making a lot of Kenyans talk, because a lot of Kenyans have been up in arms all weekend because of the government's borrowing spree. Now, this was after it was reported that Kenya was set to receive another 257 billion loan from the IMF. So Kenyans wanted the government to account for the spending of previous loans because anxiety around the Jubilee government's borrowing habits is growing. And there is even a petition, this one here, on change.org. This one has been signed by over 100,000 people. Yeah. It is seeking for the cancellation of the 257 billion loan set to be issued by the IMF, and a lot of people have signed that. So it's trending right now. It has angered so many Kenyans that we are now seeking to borrow more, such that even now, and this started trending on like late Saturday. So Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and today is Tuesday, people are still talking about it. And if I whip out my Twitter, I'll tell you it's still different hashtags on this are still trending. So a lot of people are angry that the government is still borrowing more, yet we cannot fully account for some of the loans that we have received before. Here are the hashtags that are trending right now. Stop giving Kenya loans. Stop giving Kenya loans is trending at number 2. Thief of loans at number 3 is trending. Impact of the loans is trending at number 4. IMF loan is trending at number 5. Different hashtags on and also the International Monetary Fund is trending now because of that story that Kenya was about to receive another 257 billion loan from the IMF, and a lot of Kenyans are expressing their comments on this one. I want to know how you feel about this. Let me know in the comment section. Given that we were about to receive another 257 billion Kenya shillings loan from the IMF, I'm gonna recommend that you go read a Twitter thread by Dr. Wandia Njoya. Yeah, she's a lecturer, and she tweeted something very profound on the impact of loans in Kenya and other poor countries. I wanna, just go check her out on Twitter after this. But moving on the speed feed, now thousands of residents in Jiro were left homeless after their houses were demolished to pave way for government projects in the area. And the Nation reported that these demolitions are being carried out by the Nairobi Water and Sewerage Company. So a lot of thousands of people, about 5,000 people, have been left homeless because their homes were demolished, as you can see here, in Jiro. And to pave way for the construction of government projects in that area. Now, on to another story, another bizarre story that happened in Kisumu. A 19-year-old beheaded his grandmother and then surrendered himself to police with the head of his dead grandmother in a bucket. Police said this 19-year-old man had been released earlier from a juvenile remand home after he was taken in for stealing. Just process that. Now, some good news though for those of you who use the Nairobi railway service. Now, Kenya Railways announced that it will resume the Nairobi commuter rail service to Roiro. If you live in Roiro, this one is coming to you. Embakasi, Kikuyu, Syokimau, and Athi River. Also, Rongai and Gong people, you're going to see the resumption of train services to the CBD. So they also announced the return of bus services from the Nairobi railway station to Yaya, Westlands, and Upper Hill. That's a notice there that they put out. So if you use if you use the train and you're dropped at the Nairobi railway station, you can also go to Westlands using their buses. So the services will be resuming soon, actually starting today. And moving on, there was an increase in demand for air tickets to the UK. This is after KQ released a notice to suspend flights from to the UK by the 9th of April. So travelers sought to beat this deadline, and there was a sharp increase in the demand for tickets. Now, this prompted Kenya Airways to add 2 more flights on 7th and 8th of April. So if you're watching this and you were planning to travel to the UK, there are 2 flights that have been added for tomorrow and the day after. And the row between Kenya and the UK was triggered by the UK's decision to put Kenya on its red list, restricting passengers traveling from Kenya from entering the UK, citing increased COVID cases in Kenya. And Kenya, of course, wasn't happy about that. We weren't happy about that. We responded by imposing a 14-day quarantine period for travelers from the UK who are now going to stay at government facilities at their own cost. Now, on to some transport news still, but on the local scene though. And I have to say, guys, I am not surprised by this one because Kenyans. Now, there is a new cartel that is transporting people out of Nairobi to upcountry after the lockdown restrictions were announced, and they are charging exorbitant prices. Yeah, they are charging a ridiculous amount, but it is still happening, and people are still leaving Nairobi and other areas which have been locked down. So they either bribe police at roadblocks, or or they use other routes to ferry people out of Nairobi. And it is said the passengers traveling using this method are parting with between 5,000 and 6,000 shillings. Because of course, if they use a roadblock, they will have to bribe police, or if they use another route, they will have to probably use a very long route to get you out of the city. Now, police sources say that most of the people who are traveling up country using this method say that they are unable to pay rent in the city, and it's understandable because the cost of living is still high and a lot of people have lost their jobs during this time. So people are opting to just get out of Nairobi and go back up country, but then you can't even do that comfortably because there's a lockdown. So if you lost your job, for example, if you're a hotel worker and you lost your job, right, and you're considering to go up country, you will not, if your up country is outside of Nairobi, it's very hard for you to leave. So now you're even forced to pay more for you to get out of Nairobi. Yeah, it's understandable. But still, over the weekend, I still saw people who are outside of Nairobi. And I don't know if you guys have seen this. Maybe you can tell me in the comment section if you have seen people who have posted pictures outside of Nairobi, maybe in Naivasha, and you're wondering, how did these people exactly get there? And you might not categorize them as essential workers, but still people are getting out of the areas that have been locked down. Anyway, let's move on to some other stories that people are talking about. Now, if you have been looking forward to join a teachers training college to do a PTE or ECD course, the Ministry of Education has announced that you can now apply from today. That's the 6th of April. And the deadline is the 20th of April. So the qualifications for these courses are C plain in KCSE and C- for applicants living with disabilities. So you can apply by getting forms from your local county director of education or download the application form from the Education Ministry's website. So that's how you can apply to be a teacher in case you have been looking forward to become a teacher. Moving on to some other news to do with Miraa. Now, KEBS, or the Kenya Bureau of Standards, is introducing the Kenya Code of Practice for Miraa industry to make sure that farmers and distributors adhere to high standards of hygiene in harvesting, packaging, and transportation of Miraa. Now, this will enable the country to seek new markets confidently for Miraa because it has been banned in some countries, like in the UK and some other countries that have banned this. You guys might remember that Somalia at some point had banned the export of miraa to Somalia, and a lot of farmers were suffering because of that. Now they're seeking to introduce this bill, which will make it easier for them to market miraa outside of Kenya. Anyway, let's talk about something else that was trending since yesterday. And I know a lot of you probably are hearing this for the first time. But so Jay-Z was spotted wearing a t-shirt with Lamu's historic Riata Mosque painted on it. And this did not sit well with the management committees of the mosque and general worshippers of at the mosque in Lamu. They said they did not consider it an honor or privilege, and they felt insulted by it. So in a statement, the management of the mosque said that if wearers of the t-shirt end up in bars and other sacrilegious joints, it's an affront to the spiritual respect and dignity of those who revere the mosque in and out of Lamu. And this shirt that was worn by Jay-Z was designed by a Kenyan designer. His name is Zebby Loki. So you get the twist there. So Jay-Z wears a shirt and causes a bit of controversy because it was the people who worship at this mosque did not consider it as an honor because Jay-Z was spotted coming from a bar. Now, this next one is a shocker. So, a woman in Langata beat off a police officer's ear and fled after the officer confronted her for breaking curfew. Now, the officer was then scheduled for an emergency reconstructive surgery at Nairobi West Hospital to attempt to reattach his ear, which had been beat off completely by this woman, who is yet to be arrested. Man, it's getting wild out there. And still on bizarre news, there's a man in Sierra County who was sentenced to 10 years in prison for killing his grandmother after there was a quarrel about food, and he ended up killing his grandmother. Now, though his charges were reduced from murder to manslaughter after a plea bargain, a probation officer asked the court to send him to jail for his own safety because people in his village were so angry with him and he might have been lynched if he ended up back in his village. Now, before we talk about the next story, shall I check up your comments? Those are some of the stories that are trending and people are talking about those things. You realize, Speed Feed, here we talk about trending stories and things that you need to know that are happening around you. I have still more stories that are coming up that are getting people talking on the internet as well as mainstream media, and I'll be telling you about the ARV story in just a bit. But it's time to check your comments, time to check what some of you are saying, and have some interesting technology which is fixing how I'll check out your comments. Let me refresh my phone and get on to your comments right now to see what some of you are saying on the comment section. Let me put it out right now on our stream right here. And I just want to thank you so much for coming on here to watch our live stream as we talk about trending stories and things that you need to know. All right, so after Speed Feed, you will know anything important that has happened in the last 24 hours because we'll be here every weekday live talking about it. Angel J Hart, she's over here from Australia. Hi, how are you guys doing in Australia? Is everything okay? How is the situation in COVID? I saw that some places in Australia are beginning to reopen. And Barack Dome posting some ad here. Mr. Kinoti is back with us and you're asking how many billion. We were about to get another loan of 257 billion from the IMF. He's saying, tell them we are good, hatutaki madeni zingine. And Ma'am Ashley K. Mary saying you're watching. Thank you so much, Mama Ashley K. Mary, for being on this live feed. And all of you who are watching right now, there's 42 of you who are watching live right now. Leave me a comment and let me know what you think about some of these stories. I want to continue on the feed though with some of the other stories that you need to know. So ARVs which could help save the lives of over 1 million Kenyans living with HIV are stuck at the Mombasa port because of a tax dispute between KRA and Adona USAID. So the government imposed a 90 million shilling tax on these drugs, which are worth over 2.1 billion, and they said that USAID had disregarded protocols on HIV and TB drug donation. So this has triggered a campaign on social media to push the government to release the drugs, which have been at the port for months. They came in January and now we're in April. So Kenyans have expressed their anger towards the government for disregarding the lives of Kenyans who could suffer gravely if these drugs don't end up expiring and they end up not reaching them. What good will the drugs be if they expire at the port? That's what some Kenyans are saying on social media, pushing the government to release the ARVs, which have been stuck at the port for months now. Now, a brief update for candidates who sat for KCPE this year. Education CS George Magoha says that he will, or the ministry will be releasing results for the just concluded exams in about 2 weeks. So if you did your KCPE, you're gonna know your results in about 2 weeks. All the best to everyone who sat for the KCPE. All right, moving on. This is a couple, and they're a bit controversial because they are billionaires who have managed to stay away from the media limelight. But a story that broke out today is bringing them to media attention. So Len Jerry Njiro and Patrick Njiro Kuria are a couple who are in a 9 billion tax trial with KRA. And today, KRA was given a go-ahead by the courts to collect 18 million shillings from their company, Palea Stores. So it's a case that has been going on since 2015, and they have been accused of tax evasion. Now, KRA is still seeking about 9 billion shillings in corporate and VAT claims in a case that is still ongoing at the Tax Appeals Tribunal. So the couple, why you might ask why we highlighted them, they are also said to be directors of Neo Kenyampia Commuters Limited. If you use Thika Road, you obviously know the Kenyampia buses. So the owners or the directors of this company also have other companies, and collectively they are accused of evading tax that is worth about 9 billion shillings. And KRA has won the first round that has allowed them to collect 18 million shillings from them in terms of because they have been evading taxes. But the case is still ongoing. All right. Now, on to the next. So the Kenya Investment Authority is seeking to make it easy for wealthy foreigners who invest in Kenya to gain citizenship faster. So currently, it takes you about 7 years. Yeah, if you're a foreign citizen to gain Kenyan citizenship. But the authority is seeking to ease some of these restrictions for wealthy individuals who invest in the country. So if you're a billionaire and you're looking to be a Kenyan citizen, things might be a bit easy for you. Do we have a billionaire in the comment section? I would love to know. Anyway, this one has elicited a lot of reactions on Facebook, and it's trending right now on Facebook. Now, I know Facebook is a bit frustrating because it's not easy to know what everyone is talking about or what a lot of people are talking about at the same time. But you probably have seen this, and if you haven't seen it, so it's a story about police in Nakuru who have considered using drones to arrest violators of lockdown restrictions in the county. Now, it's Nation who reported this story and said that the police say that they will attach cameras on drones just so they can arrest those who are using panya routes to sneak in and out of Nakuru County. What do you think about this? Let me know in the comment section. And on a positive note though, the next story is that MP Babu Owino announced that he has launched a cash relief program for workers in the hospitality sector who have lost their jobs in Embakasi East. So this is applying to residents of Embakasi East. And if you live in Embakasi East and you work as a DJ, a waitress, a waiter, or you work in the hospitality industry and you have lost your job and you leave, if Babu Owino is your MP, you're being urged to register with your ID card at the constituency office in Donholm, next to Donholm Primary School. This is important information if you live there and you need this. So he said that his office would process the applications and kick off the support program as soon as possible to support people who have lost their jobs and they work in the hospitality industry. Now, before we go on to the next story, now check out your comments. yeah, as we go on. Yeah, don't be silent. Let me know your thoughts as we go on with the feed. All right. Yeah, don't be silent. Let me know your thoughts. Yeah, my YouTube people, how you doing? Please remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel if you're watching us on YouTube, so you don't miss out on our live broadcast. We'll be live every weekday to talk about trending stories, and those are some of the stories that people are talking about. Yeah, and those are some of the stories that are important to know. Ian on YouTube says, Huru Ambiwe, we don't want more money. Yeah, that story is eliciting a lot of reactions, especially on Twitter. And I've said, let me just give you an update of how many hashtags on that are trending. I just said that there are about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 trends to do with the IMF loan. Yeah, a lot of Kenyans are worried, especially because we do not have a satisfying explanation as to how Kenya has spent all of the money that it has been loaned. So a lot of Kenyans are expressing anger on this one. Anyway, let's move on the speed feed. The Nairobi Metropolitan Services, NMS, is said to have moved some senior officials and demoted others because of unsatisfactory performance. Yeah, some of them are said to be just regaring in office. And 13 officials have been affected by this move, which is NMS Director General Mohamed Badi's attempt to inject efficiency and transparency at NMS. So if you work for NMS and you've been sleeping on your job, Mr. Mohamed Badi is coming for ya. Moving on, a security guard at a factory in Mombasa who was filmed torturing a suspect. So, this suspect is said to have trespassed the factory grounds, and so this guy has been arrested and he's said to be arraigned in court to answer for charges of causing grievous harm. Now, in the viral video, this guy that you see here was torturing a man who is said to be a street urchin. He was burning him with a mosquito net and whipping him with a plastic pipe. So DCI tweeted this, and they announced this guy was arrested, and he went because after a manhunt was launched for him, he went into hiding. But he has been arrested, and he's going to be answering for charges of causing grievous harm. Yeah, and they're also considering attempted murder charges on him. So, yeah, before you think of recording yourself torturing someone, even when they have done something wrong, I think the best way to do it is, give them to the police instead of taking it on your own hands, because it's gonna be more trouble for you. Now, lastly, still on a crime note, that's how we're gonna end the speed feed today. 3 men posing as KDF officials were arrested in Kahawa. They conned a man 350 shillings by promising to enroll his son in the defense forces. Now, these people would have been lynched, but the police came in and they took them to Kasarani police station, and they will be charged with obtaining money by false pretenses. That's where we end Speed Feed today. Those are some of the stories that you need to know. Everything that's happening today, yeah, all of that, that is what people are talking about. If you go on the news, that is what you will find out there. And there's also a story I want you guys to read. It's here. Now, after this live broadcast, I want you to scroll down and you're going to see it. It's a story about some of the jobs in Kenya that are looked down upon but mint millions. Especially right now that a lot of people are looking for side hustles. Yeah, you might want to check out that story on our website. Anyway, for this and more news, by the hour, by the minute, any story that breaks, you can get it on Kenyans.co.ke. That's the website to get all the latest news. Yeah, that's how we roll. Anything that's happening around you, you're gonna know it. And thank you so much for watching Speed Feed. My name is Kimani Mbogwa, and see you tomorrow with another Speed Feed.